In the current situation on the Polish energy market, local governments are expected to do more and more, especially when it comes to renewables. They have a key role to play when it comes to energy cooperatives. There's no shortage of competent people in local government who can prepare the right statutes, select the right partners, and establish energy cooperatives.
Włodarze gmin dzielą się na dwie grupy. Ci, którzy wykonują tylko i wyłącznie przepisy prawa.
Local government leaders fall into two groups. There are those who only do what is required by the letter of the law, and there are those who act within the limits of the law but want to go further, want to do more. If some new type of initiative comes along, they are willing to take the risk to implement that idea if it is of benefit to the local community. But every additional initiative that goes beyond the standard involves some kind of risk. There's a legal competence risk, which is examined by the voivod, who oversees legal compliance of local government. The voivod checks whether the local government leader is entitled to do what they're attempting. But there's also another type of risk, a political risk. This comes from the fact that the mayor is taking the initiative. He comes up with some initiatives, but they may not succeed. If they fail, then the risk has to be borne by the mayor or the local government official. On the other hand, the big advantage of local government is that there are lots of people who are willing to take on innovative projects and all the risks involved.
Sporo takich ludzi, którzy są w stanie realizować takie innowacyjne projekty.
Obserwując to, co obecnie dzieje się na rynku energii elektrycznej.
We've been looking at what has been happening in the energy market at the moment. There's uncertainty about energy security. There are sharp rises in electricity prices. Disruptions in energy supply are also predicted, and gas prices are rising. All these things have led our municipalities to take an interest in organizing our own local energy market. We started discussions by trying to organize an energy cluster. However, the cluster from a legal point of view is not so attractive as an energy cooperative. So this is why we're now very interested in the energy cooperative idea.
Pracować razem z nami w celu właśnie powołania takiej spółdzielni.
In many local governments across the country who are planning for local energy markets, there is a discussion that's ongoing, which is cluster or energy co-op. Two offer different solutions. Both are intended to stimulate community action, but also renewable energy development. Both solutions are interesting, but in terms of billing rules and financing, energy cooperatives seem to be the more attractive.
Klaster, mam wrażenie, że jest bardziej instytucjonalny i taki powinien być. I faktycznie
I feel the energy cluster solution is very institutional and bureaucratized. Many of the clusters that were created to access money for installations. With cooperatives, we have a somewhat different situation in that funds are dedicated to support the development of energy cooperatives, including installations. The motivation is more about people organizing themselves and getting funding for installations, whether they be photovoltaics or a biogas plant, so they don't have to borrow and pay back money for a period of years. This is a considerable incentive for the creation of energy cooperatives. Investment incentives for energy cooperatives must be tempered by an obligation to actually operate. We can't have a situation where, for example, the three of us set up a cooperative, take out a grant for installation, and then after a year we get bored with the cooperative and leave as producers with an installation. That would certainly be unfair.
z instalacją, bo to wtedy faktycznie byłoby nieuczciwe.
Część tego typu inicjatyw będzie skażona.
Some of the initiatives will inevitably be tainted by a kind of projectosis, which means that they get undertaken as long as there's money from the outside. The project ends and they say, it didn't work, it's too difficult, there's no money to continue. On the other hand, some of the initiatives, of course, will take advantage of this funding and develop their own independence. This is key to building a sustainable project that can finance itself after the initial funding ends.
Bez nawet tych projektów.
There are only a few specialists in Poland who have been exploring energy cooperatives. One of them is Rafał Serafin, who is often invited to meetings that try to initiate the establishment of an energy cooperative. This was the case in Kamienna Góra.
Spółdzielnia jako taki prosument zbiorowy.
An energy cooperative is a kind of collective prosumer. This means that those involved are trying to balance the production of energy and the consumption of energy at any point in time. The trick is to recruit consumers and producers who complement each other and who want to, at the same time, develop the cooperative. This is the basis of the local energy market. The Renewable Energies Act provides a legal basis for this mechanism. The fact that it's the cooperative law is in some sense a coincidence. The important thing is that the producers and consumers balance each other out. The cooperative law is probably the most suitable for this stage of market creation, but perhaps in coming years there will be other legal bases for developing local energy markets. The important thing is that producers and consumers balance each other's needs so that as little as possible of the energy is transferred to the grid.
Którzy się bilansują swoje potrzeby.
Pierwotnie spółdzielnia energetyczna
Our idea for our energy cooperative is to set it up with legal entities that are either local government units or linked to the local government. This will make the registration process much easier. On the other hand, we are very keen for the cooperative to open up at a later stage to also include businesses and others who can enjoy the benefits of being part of the cooperative.
Bo jeśli są
If the energy cooperative is set up by public entities, then there's no problem in terms of internal trading. But if we start mixing public and non-public entities, then public procurement legislation may become a problem, because the municipality may not be able to engage in energy trading without invoking a tendering procedure. The interpretation of the Ministry of Finance of what's happening inside the cooperative really matters.
Czyli tu jest uwidoczniona rola właśnie reguł prawnych.
Energy cooperatives illustrate the important role of legal rules and how these are interpreted. They can either inhibit the development of grassroots energy or, on the opposite side, encourage grassroots initiatives. Regulations regarding individual prosumers are very instructive. At the beginning, it seemed impossible and uneconomic to do anything. It seemed unrealistic that anyone would set up a micro-installation on their house or on their land. But now, after 5 years, we see what has happened. The prosumer is part of our daily reality.
No to w tej chwili, po tych 5 latach, widzimy, że to się wydarzyło. To już jest naszą rzeczywistością.
okazało się, że mamy ponad 1 milion tych prosumentów.
The way things have turned out is that we now have more than 1 million individual prosumers. This has resulted in 1 million prosumers storing energy in the grid, and the operators have to pay for this. As a result, the discount system used to incentivize individual prosumers has been stopped. Energy cooperatives, however, have the privilege of making use of a discount system, and this can be maintained
Jest utrzymany
indefinitely.
bezterminowo.
I oby tak było, żebyśmy za 5 lat się obudzili.
Let's hope that in 5 years, when we wake up, we're no longer discussing energy cooperatives because they'll be part of our daily reality.
Tego typu inicjatywy są po prostu oczywistością.
obraliśmy sobie dalekosiężny
We
cel.
have set ourselves an ambitious and far-reaching goal of becoming energy self-sufficient. This means building up enough energy production sources that will cover 100% of the needs of local authorities. But importantly, the energy production sources must balance each other in the right way so that we can provide energy supply all year round and around the clock. This means focusing not just on one type of renewable energy source, but several. We need to have both photovoltaic installations, wind energy, and biogas plants. The real benefits will appear over the long run, when we have developed sufficient energy production capability.
Wykorzystywane wewnątrz spółdzielni.